Hi, welcome to Real Age Yoga. This is a set of pranayama which I have been practicing ever since the onset of COVID 19, that is from March 2020. It's nearly 1.5 years. Now, a group of us has been following meticulously every day, 7 days a week, and it has been very, very useful to the extent that none of us have had even a bout of common cold, forget about COVID 19. It's a combination of a set of pranayamas to be practiced sequentially, take for about 10 to 15 minutes. Initially, we start with Bastrika in 3 dimensions, in the sense that 3 different hand movements. To start with, this Bastrika, as you know, it's a vigorous inhalation as well as exhalation while contracting the ab. And when you raise the hands up, it is inhalation, and when you bring it down to the navel, it is exhalation while contracting the ab. That one you can practice for about 15 to 20 times. Then thereafter you can go for the next one, that is swinging the hand from front and back. That is, when you raise the hand in the front, it is inhalation, and you take it back like a pendulum, it is exhalation. Again, please do not forget to contract your ab while exhaling. The third one is by keeping the hand on your knees. As you inhale, you push your tummy forward, and exhale, pull it back. That was Bastrika in 3 different formats, and followed by Kapalbadi. Kapalbadi we do 300 times. 300 times in the sense that 30 times in 10 different poses. Starting with Vajrasana, we do 30 counts. Then we move on to the cow pose. In cow, you drop your spine and raise your head, 30 counts, and thereafter cat position. That means you push your spine up and pull your tummy in, and in that constrained environment, you try to do 30 counts. Followed by rabbit, as you can see now in the video. You sit back, that is your rabbit pose, and thereafter you go on to dolphin pose, elbow onto the ground, you try to push the heel down. Here my heel is slightly elevated, okay, so you need to push your heel down to the ground and try to do 30 times. Initially it may be difficult to do 30 times, so you can start with less number of times, and as the practice improves, you can definitely see the improvement. Followed by high plank. Here the wrist is directly beneath the shoulder and hip is slightly below the shoulder level. All right, and you have to hold your core. So here also you do 30 times. Then followed by reverse plank, just opposite to that. You touch your legs and toes and raise your hip high and drop your head back. Actually, I'm raising my head. I should drop my head back. Come on, drop back. Oh, no, he's not listening. So you have to drop your head back and tighten your glutes and lift the glutes high. Okay. And thereafter you can go for down dog position. That is your Adho Mukha Svanasana, where you push the heel down, get the head deep in, and you can feel a very deep stretch of the shoulder muscles. Okay. So here also you do around 30 times. Then this will be followed by a pose called beast, where you keep your knees slightly above the ground and thighs will be perpendicular to the ground. All right, it's a very minimal gap. Don't have to increase the gap. You can see the load on your lower back, okay, when you hold on to this position for about 30 counts. 30 counts means ideally 30 seconds, because every stroke is supposed to be 1 second duration. Okay. Then thereafter you go on to sit in Virasana, that is on your butt, your legs are apart, and use alternative nostrils. Okay, here also you can do for about 30 times. So that makes 10 different poses, and you have in total 300 Kapalbadis. That's a good number of times to augment your lymphatic drainage. All right. Now, having completed that, thereafter you can go for a few deep breaths. Then you move on to the next one, that is Swana Pranayama, otherwise dog breathing. You pull your tongue completely out and breathe like a dog. It's again through mouth only, because your tongue is totally out and your mouth is wide open. Okay, drop your tongue as much as possible, and sometimes salivation will be there. That's quite normal. And you may try to do for about 1 to 2 minutes. And those of you having any heart conditions or any hypertension and all those things, I think you should restrict this one. This will temporarily increase your hypertension, increase the blood pressure. And at the same time, you feel dryness in your throat because you're breathing through a mouth, right? So initially start with a couple of seconds, maybe for about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and gradually as your practice increases, you can improve this one. 2 minutes should be good enough to like the deep layers of the lungs will be activated in this particular pranayama, and also a lot of deep cleansing also will take place. Since this is a public place, I think I'm not making much of noise there. Otherwise, breathing will be a little more noisy kind of thing. Now, after having completed that, you can go for a few deep breaths because you already hyperventilated yourself. So then you can go for a balancing pranayam, that is your anulom vilom, otherwise alternative nostril breathing. Block your right nostril, then first exhale from the left, then inhale left and try to hold for some time. You can even go for a box breathing kind of things. That means the equal duration of inhalation, hold, exhalation and hold, 4 stages. Inhale and hold, exhale and hold. Okay, maybe for about 4 counts or 6 counts each phase, left to right and right to left. Go for about 5 cycles to start with, and maybe I think I'm doing here only 4 cycles or something like, because of paucity of time. You can go on for about 10 cycles, that means 20 breaths, 10 on the left hand and 10 onto the right. That should not take more than about 6 to 7 minutes. All right. So this has a balancing effect upon the parasympathetic sympathetic nerve system, basically because we are all on the sympathetic high. So when you do this alternating nostril breathing, the parasympathetic nerve system will be brought up at par with the sympathetic response, and there is a balancing effect upon that. In a sense, you feel a calming effect. So only normally overstressed person or a person who's very anxious and stressful can always find some respite from practicing this, by practicing this particular pranayama. All right. Now, once you complete this one, you can go for Ujjayi breathing. That is, you're locking the chin onto the chest bone, and slow, steady, deep abdominal breathing. Abdominal breathing in the sense, when you inhale, you see that the tummy bulges out. So is the case with all pranayama, all breathing techniques, except otherwise specifically mentioned about reverse breathing or something of that kind. Otherwise, all pranayama you should, while inhaling, you see that your tummy bulges out, and while exhaling, you have to voluntarily pull the tummy deep in, so that the maximum stale air can be expelled out. This also you can go for about 10 to 20 breaths, long breaths. If you're going for a very long, if your vital capacity is good, maybe you can go on breathing for about 20 counts, then exhale for about 30 counts. Roughly 1 minute you're going for one breath. If that is the case, you may take for about 15 minutes to complete 20 breaths, right? Initially it will be too laborious to go on for such length of time. So start with very short spells, maybe about 5 to 10 times, and slowly increase the length of your breath. And again, there is a saying, your length of your life is directly proportional to the length of your breath. All right, and always go for extended exhalation. That means the duration of exhalation should be ideally 1.5 times the inhalation. If you are inhaling for 10 counts, go for 15 counts exhalation, slow, steady exhalation. All right. After having completed this one, you can go on for a breath hold. You take a deep breath and try to hold as long as you can, and you check your holding capacity. It should not be less than 40 counts. If your lungs are in good shape, you should be able to hold effortlessly for at least 40 counts. Normally up to 3 minutes and all we normally hold. That should be a reasonable and safe time. But initially it may be very difficult to go beyond 1 minute, and gradually as you practice, you can set targets, weekly targets for about 5 to 10 seconds over the previous week's performance, and you should be able to hold effortlessly, in the sense that after holding you should go for a normal exhalation and thereafter followed by a normal inhalation. All right, you should not be gasping for breath at the end of holding the breath. Right now, after having completed that, you can go for either Om chanting, It's a meditative pranayama. Take deep breath and chant Om. Otherwise, you can go for Brahmari. You can close your eyes and ears, take deep breath and exhale with the humming sound like this. You can go for about 10 cycles. All right. Even if you wanted to continue with an Om chanting thereafter, it's a good way of completing the pranayama techniques. If you have the luxury of time, you can definitely go for Om chanting to terminate with. All right. Thank you very much and happy practicing.